Hello everyone, today we are going to make hollow pennies. We will be using muriatic acid, a nail file, 3 glasses, 2 pennies, one before 1982 and one after 1982, and a nickel. Pennies after 1982 are 99.2% zinc and 0.8% copper. When you file the edges of that penny off and you put it in the muriatic acid will eat away the zinc and leave you with a hollowed penny. And pennies before 1982 are 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. There's not enough zinc for the muriatic acid to eat away, so it will not leave you with a hollow penny. And nickels are 75% copper and 25% nickel, which has no zinc in it, and it'll do nothing to it. This penny that I'm going to do this experiment on is from 1978 and has only 5% zinc/tin. The rest is fully copper. So you just want to file a little bit off of one edge. This penny is from this year, 2016. So you rub away the edge like the first one. Once you're done, you take your next. This is a nickel from 2015. And you just take away the edge. And before you drop the pennies and nickel into the muriatic acid, make sure you have gloves and make sure it doesn't splash, or make sure your skin doesn't come in contact with it. This can burn your skin off. It's very dangerous. And do this in a fume hood area, ventilated area. We're doing this outside, so you have to be careful with this stuff. After you have your gloves on, you'll want to drop the pennies in just like this. Now the second penny. Now the nickel. Yes, this is the penny that is 99.2% zinc. It's bubbling, and that's a good sign. That means the zinc is wearing away from the muriatic acid. Let's look at the penny that is 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. It's not really doing anything because there's really no zinc exposed. And then let's look at the 2015 nickel. It is 75% copper and 25% nickel, so there's no tin, or there's no zinc, so it will not wear away at all. You're not done yet. When the post-1982 penny stops bubbling, you have to dump the muriatic acid out and replace the muriatic acid with water and baking soda to neutralize the effect. And once you're done with that, you'll have a hollow penny. In a few hours, we will examine the post-1982 penny to make sure that the muriatic acid has hollowed it out completely. And we will also examine the pre-1982 penny and the nickel to make sure that the muriatic acid did not dissolve the insides. The bubbling is actually the muriatic acid dissolving the zinc, and it is a good sign that your penny is getting hollowed. We'll check back in a few hours and see how it's doing. It's been about 3.5 hours, and it's gone from constant flow of bubbles to bigger bubbles, which makes the coin float upright because the coin's starting to weigh less. We can see now that more than half the zinc has been dissolved and the coin is standing up on edge in the glass. It's been about 8 hours, and I think that most to all of the zinc in the penny has been dissolved, and I think we're ready to dump the muriatic acid out and replace it with water and baking soda. So first we're going to take the nickel and we're going to slowly pour it through the strainer and into the sink. And the water that's running in the sink, you must have water running, is going to take away the acid, and then the strainer is going to keep the nickel in there. So next we have the pre-1982 penny, and we're going to do the same thing we did with the nickel. We're going to pour it through the strainer and into the sink, where all the water is flowing. And then last we have the after 1982 penny, and we do the same thing with that as we did with the nickel and the pre-1982 penny. So we're going to run these under the strainer to make sure that all the muriatic acid is off them, and then we're going to dump them into water and baking soda. So now that we're finished with that, we're going to dump baking soda into this glass, and then we're going to run water in it. Then we will dump the money in there, like so. We're going to wait a few minutes to let the money neutralize, and we will be back to check soon. It's been a few minutes and we're checking back on our baking soda and the water and our money. So we're going to use the strainer, and we're going to pour the money out onto the strainer. Let the strainer strain the baking soda and the water, then leave the pennies in there. And then after these are rinsed off, we're going to put them onto a napkin. And we're going to let them sit for a minute so they can dry. First we have the nickel, and we filed it right here, and nothing happened to it because there was no zinc in the nickel whatsoever. Then we'll look at the 1978 penny, which was before 1982. And this penny as well, nothing happened to it whatsoever. Then our last penny, something happened to it. Looks all weird because it's all hollowed and it's just a shell because all that zinc is gone in there. Well, now you can see it's a flimsy old shell and it's useless now. And that's how you make hollow pennies. I'm Thomas, and thanks for tuning into my 5th grade science experiment.